In a small village surrounded by mountains lived a poor young man who dreamed of changing his life. But one day, he helped a woman everyone feared, and that single act of kindness brought him a blessing that would either make him great or destroy him forever. Deep in the village of Umuwaka lived a young man named Obina. He lived with his parents in a small, old hut made from mud and wood. The roof leaked whenever it rained. Food was never enough, and every morning before sunrise, his parents left the house searching for work. His father was old and weak, but still forced himself to work on farms just to feed the family. His mother sold firewood in the market under the hot sun. Obina hated seeing them suffer. Every night, he sat outside their hut, staring at the mountains in silence, dreaming, hoping, praying for a better life. But in that village, poverty was normal, and dreams rarely came true. Above the mountains surrounding the village stood a lonely old house, hidden among trees and rocks. That was where the old woman lived. Nobody knew her real age. Nobody knew where she came from. The villagers feared her deeply, not because she was wicked, but because strange things always happened around her. Some claimed she could speak to spirits. Others believed she saw the future. Children were warned never to go near the mountain alone. Even adults avoided her path completely. Whenever she entered the village market, people whispered nervously, and when she looked at someone for too long, that person usually became uncomfortable. But despite the fear, the old woman never harmed anyone. She simply lived alone, watching quietly. One evening, Obina returned from the stream carrying water. Dark clouds gathered in the sky. The village road was empty. Then suddenly, he saw someone ahead, struggling slowly. It was the old woman. She carried heavy firewood on her head while climbing toward the mountain path. Her steps were weak. The wood looked too heavy for her old body. Obina stopped. Fear entered his chest immediately, because everyone in the village feared her. But as he watched her struggle, something touched his heart. Without thinking too much, he rushed forward. "Grandmother, let me help you." The old woman slowly turned toward him. Her eyes were strange, deep, powerful, almost as if she could see inside his soul. For a moment, she said nothing, then slowly nodded. Obina carried the firewood himself and followed her up the mountain. The journey was long, quiet, uncomfortable. The deeper they climbed, the colder the air became. And strangely, Obina noticed there were no birds, no animal sounds, nothing, only silence. When they finally arrived, Obina froze. The old woman's house looked ancient. Strange symbols were carved into the walls. Dried herbs hung from the roof. Small clay pots surrounded the entrance. The air itself felt different, almost alive. The old woman slowly collected her firewood, then turned toward Obina. For the first time, she smiled. Most people fear what they do not understand. Obina remained silent. Then the old woman entered her house briefly. When she returned, she held something in her hand, a beautiful bead necklace. The beads glowed faintly under the evening light, red, gold, black. Unlike anything Obina had ever seen, she placed it in his hand carefully, then spoke softly. "These beads will grant the deepest desire of your heart." Obina's eyes widened in shock, but before he could speak, the old woman's expression changed. Seriously. The old woman stepped closer. The wind suddenly became stronger around them. Even the trees seemed strangely still. Then she said, "Listen carefully, Obina." His heart began beating faster. "The beads will give you everything you wish for." She paused, then continued slowly. "But never let pride enter your heart. Never forget the people who suffered with you, and never use your blessings to destroy yourself." The old woman's eyes darkened deeply. "Because the day greed and pride consume you, the beads will take everything back." Silence filled the mountain. Obina swallowed nervously, then nodded quickly. "I understand." But the old woman stared at him for a long moment, almost as if she already knew the future. That night, Obina could barely sleep. The beads rested in his hands as moonlight entered the hut. His parents slept quietly nearby. The sound of rain touched the roof softly. Obina stared at the beads nervously, then slowly remembered the old woman's words. He hesitated, but temptation grew stronger. Slowly, he whispered. "I want wealth. I want fame. I want a better life." Suddenly, the beads began glowing brightly. The entire hut shook violently. Wind rushed through the room. Obina's eyes widened in terror. Then everything went dark. Silence. Complete silence. Until the next morning. When Obina woke up, his life had changed forever. The poor village boy finally got everything he ever wanted, but he had no idea that every blessing comes with a price.